Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be the world's first video on the GPX Superlight 2C. I can't tell you guys what I did to get this mouse. I know a guy who knows a guy, but yeah, this is not a unit sent out by Logitech. I did buy one that will be arriving at a later date. I only get to use this one for a day, and I've put a few hours on it. Gonna give my honest thoughts. First and foremost, yes, simply put, this is a scaled down GPX. It's advertised at 51 grams. It comes in on my scale at 50 with the bottom puck, so you can get it at 49. And build quality wise, this does have the typical Logitech shell. If you've used a Superlight at any point, you just know how this mouse is going to feel. And yeah, on my unit, I can't report any creaking, like rattling, flexing, really any negatives build quality wise. There is a bit of side to side movement on the clicks. Oh yeah, and the side buttons, they do have a more just a bit more surface area. It's less of a pill design than it was on the previous Superlight, but they still do have that iconic like pre-travel, definitely a bit of a mushy feeling, but I can't say like this felt bad in Fortnite, despite the mouse being compact, shorter, accessibility wise, still very good positioning, and I was able to maintain a secure grip on this mouse. Really the only thing was like sometimes when I would flick upwards, my palm wouldn't be contacting the back of the mouse because I'm just expecting a bit more of a high profile back and presence like I get on the normal Superlight. But I will say, even after using this just for a few hours, going back to the Superlight truly makes it feel like a potato. It is so much wider. You feel like this will be one of the most popular small mice, specifically if you've had small hands, you've been waiting on a mini Superlight for years. This is really it. Other features wise, not much to say. Like the clicks feel exactly the same as they did on the GPX Dex. So it is a lighter, very sharp and like tactile, defined feeling optical switch. They tend to break in a little bit. But yeah, I had no issues with click timing, editing in Fortnite. And I will just quickly do a sound test. So yeah, really not too much to know if you're familiar with the Superlight shell. The only thing different is going to be the shape, and I know some people will complain about the weight at 49, 50 grams. I mean, if you really want something lighter, just go for like the G-Wolves Hottie S Ultra, which had been dubbed as like a mini GPX, but you can see the Hottie S Ultra, it's much higher profile in the back. It's more of a claw focus shape, where the Superlight 2C, it really just does like have the spirit of the GPX, just to accommodate smaller hands. It's much nicer for fingertip. The clicks do feel even less angled, or maybe it's just because they're lower, but definitely just a more suitable mouse. Thinner grip width, obviously. Yeah, compared with the X2 Mini, you can see pretty clearly what I'm saying about it not being high profile towards the back. Like, surprisingly, it doesn't feel too narrow. Like, that would have absolutely killed the mouse for me, but I guess like something about Logitech being a bigger global brand, they just didn't want to make this mouse like fully too small for people with like medium to large hands. It's definitely not the same style of shape as the Viper Mini Signature, but if you do want something a bit more rounded in a similar size range, I could recommend the GPX 2C, and it is expensive at $160. I'm not recommending people to buy it, but inevitably I think a lot of people will wind up trying it, and it just doesn't feel like cheap trash. I've gotten a lot more enjoyment in a few hours using this than I have in the last like many small mice I've used. I don't even know what to say. Pulsar Susanto was one that came out a few weeks ago. I said it felt like a GPX Mini, but once you get the real one in hand, you realize that none of the like mini GPXs of the past really actually like captured the feeling of the shape. And I'm not saying this is bad or you'll wind up playing significantly different. The way I see it is just there's now an official GPX Mini shape. I can't say if you'll prefer it over the countless other claw grip options, but it really passes the initial tests for me. There's no glaring flaws. Yes, this is like a year or two too late. It should have been released earlier by Logitech, but it's here now, and I really I can't see anything wrong with it unless you've truly committed to like sub 40 gram weights. But even then, I don't even know. It feels very, maybe it's because I'm using the Raiden. The skates almost do feel improved. So yeah, I don't know. I won't go as far as to say that they fixed the skates, but on the Raiden, initially, I wasn't having any issues with movements. Everything felt very smooth, quick. And yeah, to anybody curious, GPX2 aftermarket skates do not fit on the mouse. So we will have to wait for aftermarket skates, but like I said, kind of pretty passable experience out of the box. Your experience definitely could vary depending on the mouse pad, and yeah, I don't really know what else there is to cover about this mouse. The coating is seemingly the same as before, so rubberized Really no issues with it. I just simply do not have the time with this currently to really compare it with the GPX and a lot of other small options, specifically like ones with different weights. So stay tuned for a full review where I do. I just wanted to give a basic overview of this mouse in the time that I get to use it. And yeah, you can see compared to the Final Mouse Ultralight X Small, this is much more claw grippable, at least for me personally. But yeah, it is heavier, and I would rate the ULX a bit higher for fingertip. But this is going to still be that kind of like jack of all trades, just in a smaller form factor. So women, children, people of the world with smaller hands, I can say this is worth giving a try. If you've been wanting the G Pro X Superlight, God, I'm losing my voice. That's how hard I go for the mouse reviewing scene. But yeah, if you've been looking for a GPX Mini for a while, this seems good enough. But yeah, once again, I'm not denying that there are lighter and cheaper options out there. And even though I have been very positive, if you are somebody who is used to like the regular size GPX, you find that comfortable, the Viper V3 Pro, like this size of mouse, there's a good chance that the 2C will be too small and not like an endgame mouse for you. But it does feel like not deceptively large, but it's stable. Like I'm able to get a consistent grip on it, and it doesn't feel anywhere near as just like commanding in my hand as the GPX does. Not commanding, but just like filling. Really, that's what it is. It's a matter of filament, not fulfillment. Not filament either, like what they have in 3D printers. But yeah, that's going to be all. Like and sub if you enjoyed. Peace out. Full review of a different unit coming at some point.